everybody, welcome back to IGN Live at E3 2015. My name is Ryan McCaffrey. I'm joined by John Wendell from the Forza Motorsport 6 team at Turn 10. Welcome, sir.
Thanks. Great to be here.
So, Forza Motorsport 6. We all knew it was coming. So, it presents an interesting challenge. You guys, we expect greatness from you. How do you deliver it unto us for the 6th time?
Well, you're right. The franchise has great momentum right now. I mean, it all started with Forza 5 coming over to the Xbox One, getting our engine up and running there. We just released the Porsche pack for Forza Horizon 2. We're building on that success now with Forza Motorsport 6, and honestly, this is the biggest game we've ever built. I've been at Turn 10 since the very beginning, and this thing is massive.
So throw some numbers at me. What does big and massive mean? Cars,
we have
tracks?
Over 450 cars available in the game at launch, 26 environments with over 100 ribbons, 24 cars on track now. Rain, night are coming to Forza Motorsport. Just a massive game. All these cars are Forza Vista cars with that level of detail, working interiors, headlights, damage, the full deal, all built for the next generation.
So let's talk about the rain stuff for a second. We saw it introduced. We've been waiting for it in Forza for years and years. We got it with Forza Horizon 2 last year with Playground. Now, in chatting with Playground last year, I learned that you guys sort of share a technical pipeline. They kind of evolve what they need for it. Since it's a 30 frames per second open world game, you guys are a 60 frames per second closed circuit game. So did you guys sort of just borrow the rain that they already kindly built on the shared pipeline?
Yeah, so the Forza franchise is built on what we call Forza Tech. That's our engine, our rendering and our physics engine. And both games are built on that same platform, and we evolved that between the two studios over time. So the rain solution that they did for Horizon 2 actually gave us a great head start.
Right.
But you're right. Forza Motorsport is about simulation, and we wanted to simulate and recreate that experience and the tension of racing in the rain and what that meant. And that means something different in a game like Motorsport than it does in Horizon. And for us, in a simulation, it's very important to be 1080p 60 frames a second locked. And rain is one of the most highly requested features. We've been wanting to bring it to the franchise, but we know that our customers want us to bring it in the Forza Motorsport way, which means it's just not a visual trick. It's
got to do something.
Yeah, it affects everything from the way it sounds to the way it looks and to the way it drives, and it's a combination of these things, and it's been built off of this previous innovation we've had. You remember us talking about things like physically based materials in the past, how light interacts with different surfaces. Well, now we've introduced this term called porosity, which is an extension of physically based materials that each surface will absorb water at a different amount, how much it will drain and how much it will absorb.
Which means it'll pool at different points of the track?
It'll pool differently, and it has different coefficients of friction when it's wet as well. We have over 148 unique surfaces that have different amounts of friction in them and how they'll absorb water when you drive over them. So everything from a piece of asphalt to the sealer to a painted line to a curb or things like that all have different amounts of friction.
You guys are nuts. You guys are nuts. Is it just a bunch of engineers that go nuts all day?
It's not just engineers, it's artists, it's everybody. We're out there and we study these tracks, we see where water pools on these tracks, and we create 3D puddles as well. So it's not just the surface properties.
Well, that's what I wanted to ask you about next. A 3D puddle sounds like the dumbest thing, like the worst gimmick ever, but what does it mean for gameplay to have a 3D puddle?
Well, anybody that's driven has probably experienced the phenomena that's hydroplaning, when you hit a puddle on the freeway and then suddenly the car kind of, at a certain speed, the tire will actually leave the pavement on top of this water, and that's what we wanted to create in racing, especially at these speeds, 200 miles an hour on some of these racetracks. In a car, hydroplaning is a real issue.
Yeah.
And it's meant that we've got to create new driving strategies, and again, it's a collection of features, but it's about recreating what it means to race in the rain. We have 24 cars on track now, all throwing spray. You get the visuals, the sound, and now dealing with these different surface types and puddles makes for an incredibly thrilling racing experience.
So the other thing, the last point about rain that people wanted to know, I said, you guys are coming on here, I had people tweet me some questions. Is the rain going to be a dynamic thing that comes and goes during a race, or are we going to be in set rain races versus dry races?
Well, we studied each track to make sure water only gathers where it really would. And like on the Nürburgring, for example, there are over 500 puddles placed around that entire circuit. So you've heard us say in the past maybe that our researchers have both the best and the worst job out there. They get to go out and photograph these really cool cars, but they also have to be out there on the Nürburgring in the rain counting puddles and things like that. So we picked the tracks that would provide the most compelling rain driving experience and really try to craft it in a way that would deliver that driving, that tension experience that we wanted to deliver.
How about nighttime? Of course, we got that in Horizon as well. We've been wanting it in proper motorsport. Here it is. How has nighttime affected the development of the game from, was the lighting system already set up to handle nighttime, or did you guys have to do a lot of reworking of systems to make a proper simulation nighttime racing game?
Yeah, I mean, to make night work in a simulation, it again, just like rain, it had to affect not just the visuals, but the physics as well. So track temperatures are cooler, how the tires react to the colder pavement is different. But we support two different lighting scenarios at night. One is this, what we call the claustrophobia of night, racing down the Monson Straight at Le Mans with only your headlights kind of to guide you, with 24 cars around you. And what it means, it's again, very tension-filled. That's what a lot of our competitors and racers in motorsport want. They thrive that thrill and danger and wheel-to-wheel action, and there's anxiety not being able to see beyond the pool of your headlight, especially at those kind of speeds, looking for brake markers and other brake lights and things like that. But we've also developed what we call a stadium night scenario. So like around the high banks of Daytona, a new track to the game.
So something that's well lit.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a football stadium, right? A ton of artificial lights and the lights rolling and dancing, multiple shadows. It's a very kind of dynamic scenario with all the light moving around and dealing with all that. It's a different kind of night racing experience, but thrilling nonetheless.
So you guys have had a partnership with Top Gear going back a couple of motorsports now to 4. But Top Gear's obviously experienced a bit of turbulence lately. Jeremy Clarkson off the show. So is the Top Gear partnership continuing, or are we taking a different sort of avenue for the presentation aspects of the game in the front end?
Top Gear still very much is a part of motorsport. We have Stig's digital cousin. We have the Top Gear test track. We have Top Gear inspired events in the game, and we actually have Richard and James continuing to do voiceover in the game as well. But that's actually led us to some new approaches to our career mode, which we call Stories of Motorsport. Our new career has over 70 hours of gameplay, and we've kind of doubled down on that. We've brought in voices and personalities from racing and automotive entertainment to come in and really expand throughout the career. You move through and you experience these things called showcase events that may take you back to an ancient, like pre-war era formula cars or something like that, or classic muscle cars. So we brought in these different personalities to come in and actually talk about these, why they're special, help kind of stoke people's interest and passion in these races.
So just announced this week by Microsoft, the Xbox Elite controller for Xbox One has, removable sticks, all sorts of customizable bits, the paddles on the back. Are you guys going to be taking advantage of that at all with, paddle shifting or doing any other sort of controller customizability within Forza Motorsport 6?
The Elite controller we're really excited about. It's just a great piece of hardware. If you've had a chance to put it in your hands, it's just really nice. So the precision in the thumbstick and the triggers is just really, really exceptional. So we're really excited about that. At this point in time, we're not planning to change any additional mapping for some of the functionality, but that may change in the future.
Gotcha. How about qualifying laps and pit stops? That's a big thing people want to know about.
Of course, in motorsport, we have people that play for a lot of different reasons and want different things out of it. So if people want to come in and have the whole game open to them and just kind of hot lap, they can come in and do free play, have their pick of cars and tracks. There are people that love to work their way through a career and progress, and then there's people that love to play with their friends online. So we've done a lot of analysis to understand who are the groups of people playing our game and why do they play? What do they get out of it? To make sure that we have the right game modes in place for those guys to always feel like they're getting the right experience, custom made for them.
And then how about Drivatar? That was a huge innovation with Forza Motorsport 5. I mean, I still get people tweeting at me that say, "Oh, I just got an Xbox One. I just bought Forza, and you totally ran me off the road in the game." So what have we learned about Drivatars over Motorsport 5 and even with Playground on Horizon 2 that's going into improving them in Forza Motorsport 6?
Drivatars are amazing, like you mentioned. That's the exact kind of interaction we want. It's that water cooler talk the day after. Hey, your Drivatar did this or whatever, racing with your buddies, and he wasn't even online. So we feel like kind of mission accomplished there. The biggest thing is the launch of Xbox One. It was a new technology that Drivatar is more powerful the more data it has. So we actually have millions of players logging miles in Motorsport 5 and in Horizon 2. So we've got so much more data now, and we've gotten much more nuanced in how we process that data and the behaviors that come out of that. So there's a lot more human-like kind of behavior in the Drivatars now, building on all of that data over the years, and your Drivatar is already racing in Forza Motorsport 6.
Nice. So 450 cars. All of those are in Forza Vista as well, correct? Where we can really take the close-up look, get in the car, do the whole thing. Every track from Forza Motorsport 5 coming in, plus new ones.
10 new tracks to the franchise,
I wish you the best of luck in trying to top this for Forza Motorsport 7 in a couple years.
Let me get this one out the door first.
That is Forza Motorsport 6. It is on its way September 15th for the Xbox One, and we'll have much more on it coming up on IGN. John Wendell from Turn 10 Studios, thank you very much.
Thank you.